Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, how are you guys doing today? So Brother Imran ibn Mansoor alongside Brother Abu Bakr.
Assalamu alaikum.
And this is a limited edition exclusive Nasiyah session for all you drug dealers getting high, smoking weed, smoking it up, going to the club, getting drunk.
Basically, I received a question from one of my friends. Not gonna lie, we used to also, I personally, my friends as well, have this question back in the days.
A very common question I've heard many times.
It's a very common question here. A lot of people asking, a lot of non-practicing people. And that is, people say that if you get drunk or smoke weed or alcohol or whatever drugs have you, 40 days before Ramadan, your Ramadan won't be accepted.
Okay.
What's the basis behind this?
Okay, so the hadith that they're picking up from is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. I believe it's narrated in Sunnah ibn Majah by Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As radiyallahu anhuma. And he mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ said, Man shariba al-khamra wa sakira. Anyone who drinks alcohol and becomes intoxicated, lam tuqbal lahu salatahu 40 sabahan. His prayer is not going to be accepted for 40 days. And it's a very serious issue because the Messenger ﷺ actually went on further to say, وَإِن مَاتَ, if he dies, دَخَلَ النَّارِ, he's going to the hellfire.
If he dies within those 40 days.
From what the hadith mentioned, from the apparent of the hadith.
SubhanAllah.
So the hadith is not saying your Ramadan won't be accepted. It's saying your salah, your prayer will not be accepted. And that's obviously a very serious thing, my brothers and sisters, because Ramadan is a time where you can change your life around. The reward for everything in Ramadan is multiplied. Ramadan is all about fasting, and it's about taraweeh, and it's about Quran, and it's all about nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why would you go into Ramadan smoking and drinking before, knowing that your prayers for the next 40 days are not going to be accepted? And I just think it's important to mention right now, because right now there's 41 days before Ramadan, right?
Yeah, it's the 16th of April.
It's the 16th of April today, and it's 41 days before Ramadan comes. Roughly, depending on the moon, right?
Yeah,
it might be 42. But brothers and sisters, if you smoke weed after today,
But wait. The hadith didn't mention smoking weed.
Well, the hadith mentioned man sharib al-khamra wa sakira. Anyone who drinks alcohol and he's intoxicated. The word sakira is skar, is anything that gets you intoxicated, anything that gets you high, anything that gets you to lose your senses. So alcohol does that to you, so it falls under the hadith. Drugs do that to you, like weed and whatever it may be, it falls under that. Do you see?
Okay.
So based on that, if you drink alcohol, take any drugs after today, 40 days, my brothers and sisters, your salah is not accepted. How are you gonna go into Ramadan? A time when the Messenger ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frees the necks of his slaves from hellfire. Every night he frees necks of believers from hellfire on that night. But you're going to be praying that prayer and there's no acceptance for it. Do you see? And some of you might have in your mind, if it's not going to be accepted, then I'm just not going to pray. And that's another problem. You have to understand that when you pray, two things happen. When you pray, you get rewarded and you don't get punished. When you pray, you get rewarded and you don't get punished, okay? If you've drunk alcohol and you smoked weed, and you pray, you won't get the reward, but you won't get punished as well.
Because you prayed.
Because you prayed.
Okay.
You fulfilled that obligation upon you. So there's no reward, but there's also no punishment. But now, if you say, I smoked weed, I drank alcohol, I'm just not going to pray because I'm not going to get rewarded. You won't get rewarded because you didn't pray, but you also get punished.
That's another very common misconception.
Very common misconception. And the punishment is so severe that it's hellfire. A person who abandons his salah is a kafir. As the Messenger ﷺ said, من ترك صلاة العصر فقد حبط عمله. That person who left just one asr prayer, he fell into kufr. Because the one whose deeds are all nullified is a kafir. It only happens for the kuffar that all their deeds get deleted. So one asr prayer, imagine. So one prayer you leave. That's it, man. You can fall into kufr just by leaving one prayer.
That said, though, if you're at home and your brother misses asr, you can't go to him and say...
Don't go to him and say you're a kafir. Don't. That's not for you to place that ruling, but it's for you to know that it's the danger of it. Do you see? So, my brothers and sisters, wallahi, the Prophet ﷺ said, anyone who drinks alcohol or takes any form of intoxicant, whether it be drugs, weed, whatever it might be, 40 days your prayer is not accepted. 41 days you have before Ramadan starts. After today, do not do it, okay? And
one final question, obviously, you've addressed the problem.
Yes.
Now, you also require a solution.
A solution.
So now a lot of people, even though they might not realize it, you know, a lot of people are like, bro, I'm not addicted, man. You're trying to call me a nitty. You saying I'm a bitty, bro, saying I'm a crackhead or something.
They are
Nah,
addicted.
that's not me. But deep down, think about it. If you can't go a couple of days without bunning the zoo, if you can't go and you're just like, nah, bro, for me, it just gets me mellow.
Yeah.
For me, I just stick to relax. I'm not addicted. You're addicted.
You're addicted.
So, what does Islam say about addiction? What are the practical steps to get over addiction?
So it's a big discussion, but I'll summarize it in the statement of the great Sheikh Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah rahimahullah. He mentioned that any addiction can be overcome in 30 days. He said, for you to overcome any addiction, whatever it may be, whether it be pornography, drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be, cigarettes, you just need to be away from that addiction for 30 days. And he said those 30 days are the days of Ramadan.
SubhanAllah.
Because Ramadan forces you.
SubhanAllah.
You know, at day you're fasting all day, at night time you're praying, you don't have time for this. Stay away from pornography, drugs, whatever it may be. I promise you, 30 days, wallahi, stay away from it. At the end of Ramadan, addiction's gone. Allah cured you. Allah cured you. And if you're thinking of leaving it now, before Ramadan, then you know what the Prophet ﷺ said, the month of Sha'ban, he fasted. Remember, Ramadan, you got to warm up for it. You can't go into a race and not stretch. So you can't go into Ramadan and not warm up. If you run without warming up, you're not going to perform to the best of your ability, right? So Ramadan requires a warm up as well. And the month before Ramadan, and the month before Sha'ban, is the month that basically we're going to be coming into, inshallah ta'ala, in about 10 days' time. And the Prophet ﷺ used to fast more in that month than any other month. Of course, Ramadan was the exception, because that's when you fast the most. But apart from Ramadan, he would fast any other month. So start fasting now, working on your addictions now, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay. And one last thing I just wanted to ask, because some people, you know, might have this fear in their heart that, you know, people might call them a Ramadan Muslim. They don't want to be seen as someone who does bad outside, even though they might want to genuinely come into Ramadan and not smoke weed and not chat to girls and this and that. They don't want to come across as fake. People can be like, bro, you do all of this outside Ramadan. Ramadan comes, you drop it all, and then as soon as Ramadan goes, you're going to start doing it again. So they think, you know what, I might as well not do it at all.
So here's
What
the
would you say to
thing.
them?
So what they're doing is they're concerned with what people, they're basically compromising their religion. They're scared to actually come into Islam, even if it would be just for Ramadan, which is better than not coming into it at all. They're scared to just come into Ramadan because they're worried what people might say. It's very dangerous, because if you look, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Talib, he died as a disbeliever. And the reason he died as a disbeliever was because he was worried about what the people might say about him. So imagine, he didn't come into Islam because people will be like, you left the religion of your dad, Abdul Muttalib, the great, you know, leader of Quraysh of Mecca. He was loved by everyone. By him coming to Islam, he has to affirm that his father, Abdul Muttalib, who everyone respected, is in the hellfire. So for him, it's like, by me coming to Islam, they're going to say, you left the religion of your dad. So he didn't. And he died upon kufr. And the Messenger ﷺ told us, even despite all the good he did for the Prophet, he's going to burn in the hellfire. So it's very, 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 very serious, my brothers and sisters. Please do not compromise your religion, okay? And at the end of it, we've spoken about hellfire. Let's speak about Jannah. Okay, Ramadan is the way to get Jannah, man. Just very, very quickly, there was a Sahabi who died in jihad, and he died as a shaheed. And we all know the status of a shaheed. We all know the honor of a martyr, how high and noble it is. And then another Sahabi, he didn't die as a martyr, which is the best way to die, right? He died a year later, okay? But the Sahabi, another Sahabi saw them both in a dream. And he saw that the one who died a year later was actually higher, and he was actually had a greater rank than the one who died as a martyr. He actually had a higher rank than the one who died as a shaheed. And he asked the Messenger ﷺ, how can this be? We know the rank of a martyr, he died shaheed. But then the one who lived a year extra, he didn't die shaheed, he just lived an extra year. And the Messenger said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he lived one extra Ramadan. One extra Ramadan can actually get you higher than a shaheed. You see what I'm saying? So, Jannah, inshallah. So please leave it behind today, right today. And if I could ask, I don't really do this anymore. Before I used to say, you know, share the khair, share the video with people that might benefit. I don't do that anymore because I don't feel like, you know, coming across like a beg. But this video, I will say, we all know brothers and sisters who are smoking weed, drinking.
Especially because of the time.
Especially because if one day, you've got 24 hours, get this video to as many people as you can. 24 hours, so they can, you know, benefit inshallah, and make change. And you know what, this Ramadan might be the one. I believe it is. You leave the stuff behind Ramadan, you do it properly 1 month, that's it, you're a new person now.
And watch out, inshallah, we're gonna have a Chawma by just on Ramadan and its virtues, and how to make the most of it, inshallah.
And actually on MS Muslim Survivor Guide, we're gonna have every day a Ramadan video, just to make your Ramadan experience going to be called Fasting and Furious. because you're fasting. So it's going to be on Ramadan. So Muslim Survivor Guide, if you go to the link below, inshallah ta'ala, you can check that out as well, muslimsurvivorguide.com.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.